حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله.
Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. All praises, all thanks, all gratitude is due to Allah, belongs to Him, whether it is known or unknown. All of the praise is His, and He is the Lord. He is the one who takes care of us. Allah says in the Quran that not only do He create this creation, He has a method, a system of taking care of it. So all those systems of knowledge, Allah is the Lord over all of them. One Lord over the entire creation with no exception. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wahdahu la sharika lah wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan abduhu wa rasuluhu sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. I witness, testify openly, publicly, of my free will, of my own inclination. There is no God except Allah, that He is one, single and alone, without having associates and likeness, without having a family, a spouse, without having an equal, one, single, alone, and unique. And we witness that Muhammad is His servant first, and then His messenger of prayer, and the peace be upon Him. And we ask peace be upon His family and all those who follow Him to the day of judgment. I mean, we welcome you to the greatest day of the week in the life of a believer, in the life of the Muslim. Allah has said this is grand, this is great, the biggest and the most important of all the days are Friday, and the most important moment is on Friday. The Jumuah, big thing in Islam, nothing like it. And all over the world, Muslims are observing Jumuah everywhere. In the prison system, on Capitol Hill, the White House, you name it. It's not a place. We're not assembling together to have Jumuah. May Allah accept our Jumuah Salat, and may the information given in the Khutbah that it be helpful and useful to the believers. We seek Allah help, His forgiveness, and His protection from the evil from our own soul and from our bad deeds. Whoever Allah guide will never be led astray. Whoever Allah does not guide has no one to guide them. Dear believers, we want to comment first on the Jumuah. I try to be a very observant person, and sometimes it's the real simple things in Islam that people have a tendency to forget and also omit. Not the big things, the little things. If you come to the Jumu'ah Salat and the 2 rakahs in the Salat is being made, and you miss the last rakah from the Imam coming into the ruku position before he bows, that you missed that, you have missed your Jumu'ah. you now have to make the Dhuhr Salat. So to show you the importance of coming on time, you also have to know when you're too late to even make the Jumu'ah. Because the Jumu'ah consists of a Khutbah as well. You just can't do 2 rakahs and talk about you did Jumu'ah. But I just found out recently there are people in the religion that believe that. They actually believe 2 rakahs is Jumu'ah. It's the Khutbah. And then 2 rakahs. After that, you have to make the Dhuhr Salat the normal prayer that takes place on any other day other than Friday. So let us be cautious that we don't make up the religion. It's a package deal. It's a rule there. It's a law there. You can't make it up. If you don't know it, then ask somebody. But don't speculate. Don't be guessing. Either you know or you don't. And there's no shame if you don't know. The most learned Muslims don't know everything about Islam. So I thought I would bring that to our attention that we have people that think they're made the Jumu'ah by coming in after the Khutbah and after we have made the Jumu'ah 2 rakah with no Khutbah, which means you make the Khutbah insignificant. It's not even necessary, and you're wrong. That's not the truth. It's very important. And we want to comment the rest of this that has on Salat itself. Who is praying? Who do we pray for? Who is the prayer for? And this came up in a conversation dealing with interfaith. And I didn't know many Muslims couldn't answer this question. Who is the prayer for? That's a question. And every one of us should be able to answer that question. If you say Allah, you're wrong. It's not for Allah. It's for us. Isn't that something? The prayer is for you. I didn't say who it was to. I said, who is it for? Now, for people who think it's for Allah, you done made Allah now need something. He don't need none of our prayer. I hope you already know this, though. I'm just kind of reinforcing maybe something that you just forgot about. Allah don't need none of our prayer. When we pray, we're not doing God a favor. But if you're not careful, you start thinking, I'm doing God a favor. I'm making him happy. No, it's to Allah. But the prayer itself, direct benefit is from the one who is doing the worshiping, the one who is taking time to pray. Direct benefit. Allah says in Quran that prayer on the believers has been enjoined at fixed time. You should know what fixed time is. If you work on any job, there's a certain time for lunch. And we do it. Certain time for a break. And we obey it. No problem. They tell you when to come to work, what time to go to lunch, what time to take a break. And we have no problem. But when Allah says prayer is at fixed time, I pray when I want to pray. I pray if I get the chance. It don't even matter what time I make the prayer. Look how far off course we are. And I'm trying to make sure that we get back on course. And it's very important that we stay focused. Fixed time. Now, it's not 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, but Dhuhr is a span. Asr is a certain span, some room to work with. But if you're not careful and don't understand the fixed time, every day you'll be making your prayer out of the fixed time, which means you're making up your Islam, which means you're making up your own prayer, what time you're going to pray. Now, what would happen if you continue to go to work when you want to go to work? What would happen if you continue to take a break when you get ready? What would happen on a job if you go to lunch whenever the feeling hits you? You'll be an ex-employee. But isn't it something Allah don't fire? Isn't it something? You know, there's people that do wicked things, evil things. Sometimes they throw their hands up. So what you throwing your hand up for? There's no need for me to pray. That's the best time to pray. Allah already know we're not perfect. So this attitude, I do so much wrong, there's really no need for me to pray. We don't want to take that mindset. The prayer itself is a formula. It's part of the ingredients of a believer. If it's missing, then you won't be a true believer. You won't be a real believer. You won't be a believer according to Quran. So you got one group of Muslims, they actually is a very good person. When I say very good, they don't steal, they don't lie, they don't smoke, they don't drink. They're a very good person. But somewhere in their understanding, they see the prayer as nothing but empty rituals. So they never get into making a prayer. But they actually is a good person. They're wrong. They're wrong. Then you got the one that actually into their prayer, they make it just like they're supposed to make it. And they make them on time. But they're bad people. So you see the balance we have to see. This religion is more than some empty rituals. It's part of the program, but it's not the whole program. When we pray, prior to making the prayer, we wash up. We call it wudu. We call it ablution. No wudu, no salat. Wudu first, then the salat. So what is the wudu? It's the cleaning on the outside. And if you do the prayer, Allah will take care of your inside. And it's very important that we understand the spiritual as well as the physical. They both are needed. We have two legs. We don't have one leg. You got people, all they do is pray, 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 pray. Dicka, 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 dicka. Do I. And when it's over, can you give me a ride to here? Which way you headed, brother? You got 50 cents to help me get a bowl of soup. Then you got the one, work 3 jobs. Work. You call them workaholic. And their excuse is, I don't have time to pray. I got to get it. Both are wrong. God against extremism. God against the extreme. This is called the balanced religion, the midway religion. You have to go to work and you have to pray. You have to pray and you have to go to work. You have to do both of them. So we don't want to be an extreme Muslim, too far to the left, too far to the right. We want to be justly balanced. Now, if your excuse is, I'm so busy, I don't have time to pray, then I'm here to announce to you, you're too busy. You need to slow down. We have to make prayer part of our system, solo system, reproductive system. Islam is a system. It is a lifestyle. It is a way of living. So you have to get the business of operating that in your life. You figure out to fix those 5 prayers in your life. But don't omit them like it's nothing, because it's a pillar of Islam. Now, what happened when you start rocking the column of a building? What happened when you start rocking the foundation of a building? So this is a pillar. This is one of the things that hold us up. It's the prayer. So again, we have to fix it in our life. Sometimes we're making up for the prayer. Sometimes we're making the prayer late with a spirit. I have to do better than this. With a spirit, I don't want to broadcast that I make all of my prayers late. I want to keep that between me and Allah. We don't want to broadcast it. We got people always want to broadcast they're making their prayer late or they missed their prayer. Keep that between you and Allah. But again, a spirit. Got to stop making my prayers late. I have to stop making up for my prayer. And I guarantee you, if your heart is right, you will figure out how to do it. There are people who didn't pray on their job. They just decided one day to ask their supervisor, said, we're not using this room. Can I make my prayer in that room? And now, not only is it good for the benefit of the Muslim, other people on the job found out about it. Now they call the whole room the prayer room. Christians go in there and make their prayer. Because one person had nerve to ask the question, since we're not using that room, can I usually make my prayer. I don't have time. I'm busy, I don't have time. How long does it take to smoke a cigarette? And yet they give you a cigarette break. How long does it take you to drink a cup of coffee? And you tell somebody I'm going on a coffee break. If you got time to smoke that a whole cigarette, you got time to drink that whole cup of coffee, but you don't have time to make a prayer. Shame on you. Our religion, our faith, it encourages and motivates us to make the prayer in congregation. I'm praying by myself with a spirit that's not what I want. I wish I had another brother, another sister, wish it was some people here so we can pray together. The more, the greater. The more, the better. But this isolating yourself on an island where you're praying by yourself. Now I'm going to share something with you. I have shared it with some people to show you the beauty of this religion. I've been on the highway, and it's time to make prayer. I pull over in a rest area. It's happened in a rest area, and it also happened at a truck stop. I don't see nobody that I know at the truck stop or the rest area when I get ready to pray. And something said, call that thing. We call that thing. And people came to the prayer. Isn't that something? And after the prayer, we exchanged names and phone numbers. The power of just test it out. Just try it. The adhan. What is that? An invitation for someone to pray with me. A spirit that I don't want to pray by myself without giving people a chance to come to the prayer. So that muezzin, that call, is one of the greatest invitations that you can send out to people. You've been invited to a party. You've been invited to a get-together. You've been invited to a show. But was you invited to pray with someone? The masjid is the S-U-N for the Muslim on earth. We know there's one in the sky. And if you understand the nature of the sun in the sky, everything rotates around the sun. And everybody can see it. Where if Salat is the sun on the earth, then it becomes the nucleus for our community. The masjid is the nucleus for the community. This is a place that belongs to all of us collectively. This is not my masjid or your masjid, it's all of ours. It's the common denominator for us to come together. Many non-Muslims, they call it the Muslim prayer house. They don't say mosque or masjid. That's where they pray. That's where the Muslims go and pray. So it's marked as a sacred place. It's marked as a special place. And you're talking about community life. You're talking about me living across the street from you. You're talking about living next door to me. And you don't think we need to talk about Salat? Are you going to try to do that with no Salat? It's not even going to work. You have to include, though we building material building, apartment, whatever, but we got to put the Salat in there. We got to put the spirituality with the physical, or it's not going to be successful. It's not going to be completed. So we forget it talking about living together, and nobody is mentioning us making Salat together. Salat is called the heart of the deen. And you know the role your heart plays. It circulates blood. It distributes blood from the top of your head to the bottom of your foot. It's in one spot, but it circulates. It don't want to stay in one spot. So it's the heart of the religion. It's the pillar of Islam. If you look at the structure of Islam, the first pillar of Islam is not a pillar of action. What follows, the other four are called pillars of action. The first one is just lips professing. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah, ashhadu anna Muhammad. That's just lips. But the very first one become a distinguished trademark. Salat. And anytime the news reporter interview a Muslim, one thing they always noticed that they would tell the news reporter, It's time for me to make my prayer, so we're going to have to take a break right now. They don't say, can we take a break? They let the news camera, whoever's filming, you can take a break, do what you want. I'm going to make my prayer, and we'll come back. They notice that's something with every Muslim. So what happened now, when the news reporter comes and we don't do any prayer, it's going to be the first thing in the news report. We notice first that they didn't make that salah. We notice first that they never interrupt us to make that prayer, though they say they pray 5 times a day. So we have to make this prayer part of our daily business. It's part of my business. It's part of your business. Life itself is a business. You have to make the salah part of your business. You have to make it part of your trademark. And whatever you do, you're considering what time of prayer comes in. I meet with many Muslims. But when I meet with Muslims, I never say, I will meet with you at 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock or 8 o'clock. I meet with you at Dhuhr. I meet with you at Asr Salah. I meet with you at Maghrib Salah. Or I want the benefit of having a meeting, but I also get the blessing. Let's pray together. For non-Muslim, I might say 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock. But for a believer, I'm going to help us to burn. You want to see me? Come to the Fajr Salah. We make Fajr at this time. Let's do the Fajr, and then we take care of business. Or whatever. Again, we take the Salah for granted. But the enemy of Islam have never taken Salah for granted. They have seen it as part of the thing that makes us unique. It's part of the thing that makes us so strong. They see it as something that bonds us. And we have to see the same thing. Why are you not bonding with a brother? Are you making any prayers with him? And it's a beautiful feeling to say, I know him from the Salah. I know him every day. He comes to the door. Every day I say, man, awesome. Not every 5 prayers, but it's a trademark. He's going to come here for awesome. I know I'm going to see him. That's a beautiful way to bond. Not at the club, not on the corner, not at the tavern, at the masjid, in the salah. And then when he don't show up, I say something is wrong. Come to find out he was in a wreck. Come to find out he's ill. But I know something was wrong, because that's not his regular habit. And we are creatures of habits. Habits are good and habits are bad. To make your prayer on time, good habit. To make your prayer late, bad habit. But they're both habits. And human beings are creatures of habits. So you have to question your habits. Is it good or is it bad? If it's bad, you should seek to change it to a good habit. And let's not leave our family life. We're getting ready to close this out. You married with wife and children. And we're not talking about big children, little children. And you don't make any salah in the house together, it's going to affect them for life and their development as a Muslim. The concept is going to be now, we only pray together when we go to the masjid. And if we don't go to the masjid, we don't make any prayer. What kind of Muslim is that? So you can see, sometimes we're digging our own hole. And we're creating unnecessary problems when we don't have to do that. Just obey the religion. Don't try to negotiate. If a religion say at least 5 times a day, only one going to argue with that is somebody that's not melting like butter. The only one going to argue with that is somebody who's not submitted. Well, I don't see why there's a need. I can do 3 and make it. I don't see why I need to do that. I should be able to pray when I want to pray. And here's the one I hear sometimes. Allah understands. You better believe he understands. You better believe that. On the day of judgment, I just want you to think for a minute. Allah is questioning you. Our angel is questioning you. What is the question? Why didn't you make your salah? I don't care what answer you give. If you hear it with your own ear, you'll see. It don't hold water. It don't even hold water. Your answer that you can give, or you can pray in a chair. You can pray on a bed. I mean, this religion is so simple. That's why we call it the religion of common sense. But there's no excuse. You didn't even make the prayer at all. I didn't say late. I didn't say you didn't make it at all, and you think that was cool. Now it's a habit with you. No. So let's work on ourselves this year. And again, we don't broadcast bad deeds. We don't broadcast any deed that's not pleasing to Allah. This is the program. The only difference between this program and the NAACP and the SCLC is this is a divine program. Any other program is a man-made program. Allah knows what's best for us. You don't even know what's best for you. I don't know what's best for me. My Lord, our Lord, has to point out this is best for you. This is good for you. So if you don't make the prayer, again, we say when you pray, it's not for God. It's not for Allah. So if you don't pray, who you hurt? You're not qualified to hurt Allah. You can't injure him. You can't hurt him. Who you hurt? You're hurting yourself. You might not know it now. Just keep doing it. You're going to realize I am a self-oppressor. I am one who oppressed my own soul. Not the white man. I oppressed my own self by not doing what Allah asked me to do. Let us close with dua. Oh Allah, we seek protection in you from misleading and from being misled, from betraying and from being betrayed, from oppressing ourselves and others, and from others oppressing us, from pulling others into ignorance and from being pulled into ignorance. Oh Allah, surely we turn ourselves to you, the Lord of all the world. Our sacrifice, our life, our prayers are all for you. And it is to you that we seek guidance, forgiveness, and mercy. And oh Allah, we ask you to have mercy on us and forgive us for our sin. Ameen. We praise Allah and we always thank Him. Subhanallah. Wa bihamdihi wa la ilaha illallah. Glory be to Allah. All the praise is His. There is no God except Allah. And He is bigger, greater, and more important than anything else. Dear believers, we're in America, and we should always know where we are. The head and the body should be in the same place. The head somewhere else and the body is here. That's a problem. And in America, among dark-skinned people, no matter whether you participate or celebrate it, it's Black History Month. It's African American History Month. And this started in 1926. Before 1926, there was no such thing as Black History Month. And even when it started in 1926, it wasn't Black History Month. And it wasn't African American History Month. It was Negro History Week. You got to see how far we have came. You got to know progress is 2 points. Where you was and where you are. In the Virginia Slim commercial, we come a long way, baby. From 1 week. And then Negro History Week. Now we're into Black History Month or African American History Month. And if you don't know, this month has the shortest days in it, 28. And if you want to get particular, 2016, we had 29 days in it. Every now and then we're going to have 20. We got 28 days. So what are we saying? We have to study why this happened. This affects the whole world. This is the world issue, not just Muslim. Why was there a need in 1926 to even have a so-called Negro History Week? And it's a real simple answer. Because the world in general had cut us out of history. That we didn't have no history. We never contributed nothing to the world. We just a nothing people. And Carter G. Woodson decided to put a new spin to it. And we brought something to the table as well. And those historians began to do research on great so-called Negro history, people, African Americans, etc. But one thing they did, they also cheated us. So we got the world cheated us out of our own history. Don't know who you are, don't know where you come from, don't know what contribution you made. You just a zero people. You just a nothing people. Then when they started doing the history, they did an injustice to the history. They're doing it to this very day. They disconnected us from our Islamic heritage. You know, the Chinese people are great people. But I don't care what religion our Chinese belong to. He can be a Chinese Muslim, Muslim Chinese. He can be a Hindu. He can be a Buddha. But one thing he knows, the connection with his history with Buddhism. He would tell you, I might not be of the Buddha faith, but my people, many of them, they belong to Buddhism. And he say that with a respect for what had happened, not what he wants to happen, what have happened. And our African-American historians, they don't even want to say that Islam is part of our history. Whether we Muslim or not, it is part of our history. The Songhai Empire, Timbuktu, Mali, Askil the Great, Sunni Ali, Abu Bakr II, who came to America long before Columbus. They don't want to make this. So who's going to have to do it? You and I are going to have to do it. How do we do it? Whenever they ask us to speak during Negro History Month, Negro History Week, African American History Month, we accept the invitation and we start off by taking what is disconnected and plugging it back up. That's what I do. I love to get invited to speak during this month, knowing it's my interest to talk about Islam. So they need to know the history of Bilal. They need to know the history of Bilal. And need to know that Bilal was of that heritage. And then again, among Muslims, there have been many Muslims guilty of not bringing out the African companions of Prophet Muhammad, the prayer and peace be upon him. Companion who descended from Africa. So we have to do it. We got a great job to do, is to make the Islamic connection that then hook it up to our people again. The late leader of the Nation of Islam, Elijah Muhammad, he had a day called Savior's Day. When was it? It's in February. I don't think that's a coincidence. I know what they did for to be the birthday of W.D. Farrar, but we're talking about after 1926. And I think he's seen a connection to utilize February for his annual convention to Chicago. I don't think no person in America brought more black people together during Black History Month than the late leader, Elijah Muhammad. May Allah forgive me for his sin and have mercy on him. A man who always practiced some form of strategy, had a hidden agenda that most people only seen the surface and never seen what he was really trying to do. Now, we're not in the Nation of Islam. We don't represent the organization called the Nation of Islam. But African American or Muslim African American, we still have a significant with Savior's Day. But the Savior's Day now is not dealing with somebody's birthday. The Savior's Day now is what Islam did for me. How did I come back to Islam? How did I become a revert? That's our Savior's Day. Not a birthday of a man, but the day I heard Islam and embraced it and what it did for me. That's a special day. None of us should ever apologize for how you came to Islam. You got people who want to apologize for the way they came. Allah brought you. That's the key thing. And he brought us different ways to come to Islam. So we appreciate the method that we came to Islam. So it's a day that we were saved from this world. Used to drink, used to sell dope, used to be a burglar, used to this. Now we're X, used to be that. Islam made us like shiny new money, new diamonds and pearls and rubies. And you want to apologize on how you came to Islam? I love to tell my story, how I came. I don't care who don't like it. I love to broadcast my story, how I came to Islam. Some of us, we were born and raised Muslim, so you don't have a story to tell. But there are many who go to prison. Been Muslim all their life. And they go to prison and they re-enter Islam like it's their first time. And they come out of prison, they're good Muslim. And they'll tell you, if I hadn't went to prison, I would have continued to be a bad Muslim. But I went to prison, I heard them say on the intercom system, Jumuah is now being held in the multi-purpose room. And those who want to observe Ramadan, you need to sign up. Because they thought being locked up, they had escaped Islam. And now we live in a government that accommodates you if you're Muslim. So they rediscovered Islam. Like we reverted, went back to what we were before we became slaves in this country. That's a great day. A great day. So we thank Allah. And you don't tell Allah how to bring somebody to Islam. You don't tell Allah who to use. You don't tell him where to use. You don't tell him when to use. You don't run nothing And I listen to the different stories that people tell me on how they came to Islam. Came through the Moorish Science Temple, came through the Nation of Islam, came through the 5 assemblies, came into Islam through the prison system. Beautiful stories, how Allah can bring you from wherever you are, He can bring you to Islam. In our conclusion, you see the work, well, sisters might not see it, but I'm inviting sisters that they want to see it. We got some work going on over here in the brother area. New shoe racks, new floor, pretty soon working on the wudu station, and pretty soon working on the bathroom. Work always excite people. It motivates people. Construction, not destruction. So there's some construction going on, a symbol of life. And we're happy for that work that's taking place. And we ask you to donate to it. We ask you to help us out in making it happen, because this is history. We're going to talk about when this was done. Years later, we'll be talking about who helped did this. So we thank Allah for those who have made it possible what we have done. And again, it's not finished. A wudu station, the bathroom, we have to complete the project. And you see a picture on the outside of how it's supposed to look as a finished product. And also, we want to talk about using more young people in this community here. Even if we have to draft you, if you won't volunteer, we're going to start drafting you. And you know, to give a Khutbah, you don't have to be an Imam. All you got to be is Abdullah. You can come give a Khutbah. You have to know how to do it. You have to know how to lead the prayer. But we want young people to see more of you visible in leading this community. Because we're getting up in age and we need some people that are trained to step in our shoes. And we're asking the young people to be aggressive in telling the leadership what you want, to give suggestions to the leadership. But again, if you don't volunteer, we're going to start drafting you to head this up, to start this up. And we don't want no old person holding them up. If any old person hold them up, you're going to have to deal with me. Give that man his space, give him his room. If he's been given an assignment and he came from the Imam, don't hold him up. Help him. This wedge between young and old. Old don't like the young people, and young people don't like the old. Who do you think that comes from? Shaitan. You should love the young people, and the young people should love the old people. The old people, we're like coaches, because we know the way. We already did it. And we know we can't do it forever. We know we're going to die. We're going to leave. So we need some apprentices. And so we want to be looking for young people to come forward. And also, Friday, we're talking about Salat in the early part of the Khutbah. On Friday, all of us should know, we should be reading Surah 18. Every Friday, we should be reading the cave every Friday. And since so many of us get here early and just lollygag, just talk about nothing. You hear 30 minutes, 40 minutes before the Salah, and you're just talking about nothing really. We want to start reading Surah 18 aloud before the Jumu'ah. And again, we would like for a young person to head that up. Where we get the benefit of coming early, since we didn't read the surah, we can listen to someone read, or participate where it's split between 4 people, 5 people, but at the end, and it's only, again, 120 ayats. And you're through reading the cave. So we want to make that a tradition. If you come early, you get a chance either to read it or to listen to it being read before the Jumu'ah. You got to come before the Jumu'ah. So if you come at the Jumu'ah, that means you miss hearing the cave. You miss participating in reading and listening to it. But a lot of times we think something is in the religion and it has no significance. What happened when we read the whole Quran in Ramadan together? It bonds us. And what happened if all of us read Surah 18 every Friday? Would it help us or would it hurt us? You heard the saying, we're all on the same page. So we want to start doing that. Anything that's been put down, that shouldn't have been put down, we want to pick it up. And there's a lot of things we put down we need to pick up. And some things that we're doing we need to put down. So you have to know what to put down and when to pick it up. So we want to start there. Let us close with dua. Oh Allah, Guide us among those whom you have guided. Preserve us among those whom you have preserved. Befriend us among those whom you have befriended. Bless us with what is lawful and protect us from that that is not lawful. Surely whoever you honor can never be disgraced. Oh Allah, we seek protection in you from a heart that has no faith, from a tongue that is not straight, from a mind that does not remember you, from knowledge that is not useful, from a soul that is ungrateful, and from a prayer that goes unanswered. I mean, perform this salah.
الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح قد قامت الصلاة قد قامت الصلاة الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله.
Dear believers, we want our brother who is like a son of mine, Brother Farouk Hunter. You must obey the Imam to lead us in the salah. Now, some of you don't know this brother. You should know him. And after the day, maybe you'll get a chance to shake his hand and talk to him. Low key, quiet, but I'm going to put him to work. So you lead the salah.
الله أكبر الله أكبر. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. والليل كل همزة لمزة الذي جمع أملا وأحددا يحسب أنه ماله وما أخلد كلا لا ينبذن في الحطمة وما أدراك ما الحطمة نار الله الموقدة التي تطلع على الأفئدة إنها عليهم مؤصدة في يمد محمددة. الله أكبر الله أكبر. سمع الله من حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. إذا جاء نصر الله والفتح ورأيت الناس يدخلون في دين الله أفواجا فسبح بحمد ربك واستغفر إنه كان توابا. الله أكبر. سمع الله من حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. Assalamualaikum. For those of you who may not know, the fundraising committee is selling this new calendar. The 2018 commemorative calendar is called Remaking the World. There's a lot of information in this calendar from Imam W.D. Muhammad. And just to give you one of his quotes, building a better community, better businesses, a better appreciation for our life, and building on the greatness of our history, that's the work that must continue. This is one quote that's in here about the Imam. It also gives you a lot of history about the things that he did while he was among us. And that's all in the first 4 pages before you even get to the calendar. We're selling this calendar for $20. It's a fundraising effort on the behalf of this masjid. We ask that everyone get their copy of this. You can see me, Sister Daia, Brother Anise, Sister Linda. Who else? I don't see Najee here today. But you can see any of us. Zakia Ahmed, she's here. And if you need to use your credit or debit card, we can take care of that as well. So please support this worthwhile effort. Support Project Smiles children's classes on Sunday morning from 11:30 to 2. Breakfast is served here at the masjid on Sunday mornings from 9:30 to 2. Support Muslim businesses and vendors, and you are supporting community life. The Muslim Journal newspaper gives us information about our community. Pick yours up today. Brother Sadiq, Sister Beverly Jackson passed this week. Please make dua for him